Hey everybody, welcome to Trading Capital's daily live stream of the market open. Today is Monday, January 23rd, and kicking off things into the markets, there's a few things that we're watching today. We're going to be looking for short plays today considering the markets had a substantial run up. So right away we're looking at coin for potential short. Basically anything with a pierce over this 55 level will be a potential short area. So 55.15 is that pivot high there. You are seeing the dollar up and yields up. So there's been a massive divergence between the stock market and the bond market. And what that typically means, in 2022, there were 7 divergences between bonds and stocks. And all 7 cases led stocks selling off since yields are spiking. So we're looking at Coinbase for a short. There is weakness in the precious metals sector, so we can potentially keep Newmont on the radar. You are also seeing a little bit of weakness in healthcare, which we'll keep an eye on as well. And then you're seeing some strength across the Chinese stocks again. But right now, there's really only a couple stocks that I would consider shorting. Coinbase is one of them, and Spotify is the other one. Okay, so we'll just keep that on the radar for now. Just going to do our pre-market scans here just to continue to see if we can scout any other opportunities. We have about 3 minutes till the open. And the dollar has had a short-term breakout. It'll be interesting to see if the dollar can put in a little bit of a daily bottoming tail today. You can see a nice move off the lows for the dollar. The dollar's major resistance is into this trend line, so you can see that it has potentially a little bit more upside. And you can see why it stopped there. Pivot to pivot to pivot. So we're really going to keep our eye on yields. If Spotify pushes up to the 103.85 level or higher, 103.85, then that is a short level. So let's just pull up Spotify. SPOT is the ticker. Spotify got an announcement that they are laying off some of their staff, their employees. And obviously, the markets love those layoffs. But you can see the run-up Spotify's had. Pretty impeccable move off the lows into the daily 200. This gap fill we want, or the secondary gap fill. Markets are open. Markets are open. The spiders are gapping up. Generally, we see a gap up and crack. Apple strength. Get ready to short coin if it pops up, but it's seeing some distribution. Spiders are coming in lower. Tesla's up. Nvidia's up. So semis are showing some signs of strength. But nothing else to report at this point in time. seeing some weakness in a little bit of weakness in oil, some strength in natural gas. Energy stocks are trading up. Coins coming in decently. Markets are seeing a little bit of sell pressure as we approach. Spotify is pulled off our level. Let's take a look at the S&P. Semis are coming in now. Tesla's up. Markets are starting to sell a little bit harder now as the dollar's popping up. Netflix potentially is a short at 348.50, 348.50, but we're not there yet. China stocks are coming in now. The dollar's just consolidating bullishly.
Multi-billion-dollar stake, the hedge fund writing in a statement the following: we look forward to working constructively.
No real trades yet. No real trade, we're just waiting. Taking a look at the spiders. Spotify's pushing up here. Spotify's pushing up. 103.70 is the short level. 103.76. Let's see if we can get there. A little bit more on Spotify and we can short Spotify. Just a little bit higher. Nvidia is rolling in, Apple's staying strong. So the market's mixed right now. You have semis trying to roll over, but Apple is remaining very, very strong. So it's a mixed market right now. Spotify is pushing up. Short Spotify, 103.99. 103.99, that's a 1-6 position. We're shorting Spotify, 103.99. And it's getting a nice pull off that level right now as we speak. $103.99. It's our starter position on Spotify. We're going to look for $1 on Spotify. See if we can get a market pullback. I'm covering Spotify right here. I covered Spotify at 102.77. 102.77, awesome job. First game of the market session. 102.77, cover Spotify. That is $1. Let me just see here, what did we get? $1.23 profit. Awesome job. That's how we love to start the morning. Beautiful, 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 beautiful job. Just look at the S&P. It's coming in. Spotify retraces and pushes through this level, we can short it again. We're going to short Spotify again, but we're going to want it pierce. Okay, we're going to want it to pierce through that level. Let's just see the next. You can see that it filled that technical gap, but now we want it to pierce. A pierce of that level, we can short it again. The dollar's still bullishly consolidating. Apple's remaining strong. Apple's hitting some good resistance as well. It's potentially a short setup. Look at the dollar. Dollar's still continuing to push. We want Spotify again if it pushes up, so let's just keep an eye on that. Spiders are remaining at the highs. Let's go Spotify. We already have one winner in the books. Nvidia's showing some weakness. It has filled a good technical gap. You have strength in Tesla still. Amazon's down pretty decently. Google's just gone negative on the session. Spotify's trying to push back up. Let's see if we can get it. The dollar's consolidating. S&P is pushing back up, so we may get some action on Spotify again. We may get a little bit more action on Spotify. There's no other real short trades at the moment or longs. Apple's coming up into some decent resistance though. Just taking a look at Spotify. S&P still pushing up near the highs. Spotify's approaching. Let's play Spotify a second time if it pierces that 104 level. 104 or pierce, and we can play Spotify on the short side. Just missing that level now. China stocks still are remaining strong. We're going to short GOTU. We're going to short GOTU. If it pushes up and pierces 397. Let me just pull up GOTU. GOTU. 2 more cents and we're going to short GOTU. Let's check Spotify again. That's coming in. Shorting GOTU at 397 or pierce. 397 or pierce. It's just pulling off of that level. Nvidia is showing weakness. Meta is still up. The Dow is showing a bit of weakness. You have components like Coca-Cola and McDonald's. The safety plays showing weakness. GOTU, I'm going to grab a little bit of GOTU here. Short GOTU at 397, 16 position. Short GOTU, it's pushing up now. GOTU is still pushing. The next ad level on GOTU is 410, but it is pushing. 410 is the next ad level. If you're a little more, if you want to be more conservative, you can wait till you get to the double top there. Might be a decent idea to wait. Netflix is potentially a short as well. Netflix. I still want Netflix at that gap fill. So we're just going to be patient on Netflix. It looks like it wants to hit that gap fill. We want it at 348.50. GOT is still pushing. Spiders are remaining near the highs. Apple's remaining strong. Tesla's remaining strong on the session. GOTU, we're going to have a 2-6 position at this double top zone. I'm going to add some GOTU here, 412. 412 short, GOTU, 2-6 position. So my average is 404 short GOTU. Nvidia is getting a push. China stocks are starting to come in like BABA, NTAS. So we should see GOTU come in. Netflix is still pushing. Let's put a little alert here for Netflix. Spiders are remaining near the highs. So we're short GOTU, 2-6 position. Slightly out of the money. Spiders are trying to push back up. S&P is trying to push back up. S&P is pushing up higher. Yields remaining near the highs. Apple's remaining strong. Meta's pulled off the highs. We're still seeing weakness in the healthcare sector. Energy's pulling off the highs. Dollar's trying to push up still. GOTU, we're going to add at a Pierce of 420. A Pierce of 420. Starting to see some weakness creep into the markets. GOTU is continuing to push. Alibaba's coming down, so it'll be interesting to see how long this divergence occurs for. The spiders are remaining near the high. GOTU, get ready to add to GOTU. I just covered my silver short for a lovely over 5% gain. That's a swing trade though. GOTU is pushing, get ready to add to GOTU. Just sending an alert out to my members. GOTU is pushing up still. We're still seeing strength in the semis, strength in Nvidia, strength in Tesla, Apple. The semis are actually at a decent short level. Netflix is pushing up. Spiders are pushing up. GOTU is up now 10% on the session. 422 or Pierce is the next level on GOTU. Spiders are pushing up near the highs.
If you look at market indicators, recessions don't seem to be on the cards, but the way that we see 2023 playing out.
GOTU, I'm adding to my GOTU short at 425. 425, short GOTU, that's a 3-6 position. 425. And our average is now at 412. 412. China stocks are remaining strong. The market is remaining up on the session. GOTU is still pushing. SMH is pushing up. SMH is into really good resistance here. Let's take a look at the SMH. Markets are just pulling off of the highs, starting to see some potential weakness as the dollar consolidates. So the SMH just trying to see if I can isolate down a level on the SMH. This level you can short, but it is a little bit higher risk on the SMH. Just flip back to GOTU. Our average on GOTU is 412. 412 short. Spiders are remaining near the highs. Still seeing strength in Apple. Tesla's up 2.82%. Nvidia's up on the session as well. Netflix is pushing up into that potential short level. Spiders remain near the highs. Netflix is almost into the short level. Almost into that gap fill. So markets are continuing to trend higher. Netflix is pushing up. Netflix is at a potential short level. The S&P is pushing up pretty hard here, even though yields are up and the dollar is up. So it's an interesting divergence that is occurring. Still seeing weakness in healthcare. We can short Netflix right here, 348.46, 348.46. $1.6 on Netflix, shorting Netflix, 348.46, basically right at this level. GOTU is still remaining near the highs. Spiders are pushing. SMH is remaining strong. Apple's remaining very strong. Seeing strength in energy continuing.
Saving,
the dollar's rolling over now as the markets pop higher.
Has kept the consumer spending, and so we think this week we'll find out personal consumption grew at a 2.5% annualized rate in the fourth quarter, so still very strong. So all of these factors are a tailwind at the moment.
We're still short Netflix. We're short GOTU.
A little bit longer. We only moved it back a quarter, so this is not a major change. But we
basically flat on Netflix and slightly in the money on GOTU. See if
Mike, you pushed this back. Did you change your Fed call alongside it?
Well, we did in the following sense. It seems clear they want to slow down.
Netflix is pulling off of that level. This is actually a decent swing level for Netflix, so you can hold this short a little bit longer, or you can choose to cover it. I haven't decided yet what I'm wanting to do with this trade, but it's kind of a dual factor level. Let's look at GOTU's pushing up, so get ready to add to GOTU here. Let me just get rid of this. Pierce to this level. I want it a little bit higher. A little bit higher. Spiders are still remaining near the highs. If it pierces this 435 level, we will add to our GOTU short.
Still elevated. Job openings still suggesting something close to 2 openings for every unemployed American. Mike, when we get to the second quarter, what do you think those data points look like?
Well, I mean, we have the unemployment rate
Netflix is still remaining near the highs.
5% at its peak, and so you're likely going to have some job losses.
The next ad level on Netflix is this 350 area, 350 or pierce, 350 or pierce.
And then turning negative for a while, starting in the second quarter. So think maybe 3 to 6 months of softness in hiring and maybe some negative payroll growth. So we do that. We have that happening now.
S&P's pushing up very, very strong here. Already, the Qs are already up over %, even after that massive rally on Friday. Let's short coin here. Let's short coin. 55.18 short coin. 55.18. 1/6 position. 55.18. Coin. Netflix is remaining strong, so we're shorting 3 different things right now. Six. Coins pushing up, Bitcoin's pushing up. China stocks remaining relatively strong. Netflix is still trying to push up. Apple's pushing up very strong here. Semis are remaining strong. So we're just short GOTU, short Netflix, and we are also short Coinbase. Watching Netflix to add here at this 350 level. GOTU we're going to add if it pierces this 435 level. Coinbase is pulling off of our level. Netflix is just pulling off slightly. The dollar's looking to retrace to support. We'll see if it can actually hold this bounce. Coinbase is pulling off the highs. Netflix is trying to push up. Semis are at some minor resistance here. Netflix is pushing. Spiders are pushing hard here now. Get ready to add to Netflix. Get ready to add to Netflix. Look at the strength in the S&P. You're almost hitting the top of this channel. So that'll be interesting to see what happens from that point in time. Tesla's remaining up on the session, but approaching some near resistance. Apple's remaining relatively strong, approaching a downsloping trend line of resistance. GOTU.
Decent day of gains on the cards, maybe up 0.5% on the S&P and the Nasdaq, up 1 full percentage point. Abby has more. Hey, Abby.
Hey, John. Yeah, we do have the S&P 500 up about 0.5% at session highs on basically a volume that's equal to what it's been over the last 20 days. Not surprisingly, with the gain,
I'm going to add to my Netflix here, 350.46. 350.46. That's a 2/6 position on Netflix. 350.46. The S&P is pulling off of the highs. Netflix we're short. I'm going to add to my GOTU short here, 436. 436, that's a 4/6 position. $4.36. So our average on GOTU is 420. 420. Let's take a look at Coinbase. Coinbase is pushing up. Our next ad level is approaching. Coinbase is pushing up. Next ad level on Netflix is this 351.51. Coinbase is pushing, so let's see if we can get another short on Coinbase. Around this 56.16 level. SMH is remaining near the highs. Spiders are remaining strong. You have Nvidia up over 3.77%. Apple's up 1.5%. Tesla's over 4%. So lots of strength in tech is continuing. Tech is continuing to show a great deal of strength. Coinbase is pulling off the highs. Netflix is pulling off the highs as well. Let's check a look at GOTU. So we're just slightly out of the money on GOTU, but it is pulling in nicely. Coin still up on the session. The dollar's catching a little bit of a bid now. We're going to look for 10 cents on GOTU. We're going to look for 10 cents on GOTU. Spiders are pushing now, or pulling off the highs. Apple remains strong. Getting a decent pullback in Bitcoin. Let's see if the spiders can pull back a little bit more. Netflix, we're just slightly flat. Coinbase is trying to push a little bit more. Now it's pulling in. Spiders may have a 10-minute topping tail as the dollar is trying to put in a 10-minute bottoming tail. So we're still seeing that inverse relationship. We're now in the money on Netflix. We are in the money on Netflix. Coin is pulling off the highs, getting a nice little 15-minute on GOTU. Bitcoin's trying to potentially reverse here. So let's see if the markets can see some downside. Now, factoring in the large move on Friday and then today's move, there's a lot of risk to the downside for many of these stocks. Coinbase, we're now in the money. We are in the money on Coinbase. So Coinbase had that impeccable rally on Friday. So I think we can actually squeeze out a decent amount on Coinbase. I really do, especially since Bitcoin is coming in now. I think on Coinbase we can actually squeeze out over $1.95 here on this short trade. You can see that's the pre-market wick low. So we're in the money significantly, deep on coin. We're in the money now on GOTU, and we're also in the money on Netflix. So all of our trades were in the money. Get ready to cover coin here. Now there is a potential that coin can actually come down to this candle here. It's a gap fill at 52. Also a psychological whole number, 52 bucks. And you can see that this was your consolidation period before breaking down. So 52 could be, if you're wanting to hold this as a little bit more of a higher risk short, you can look for 52.07. But I'm going to look for taking profit around here. $1.91 on coin should prove to be a good trade in our pocket. Netflix, we're just slightly flat. GOTU, we're in the money. Bitcoin's actually coming in a little bit harder now. Let's see if we can see some continued weakness in these markets. The markets are pushing up now because the dollar is seeing some weakness. You have to think that it's probably going to hit the top of this range. New high of day on the S&P. Nvidia's into some decent resistance. Coin's seeing a little bit of a pop. Spiders. You can short the spiders at this level, or even the likes of, say, Nvidia. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Look at this monster move on Nvidia. See if we can isolate down a level. So you're coming into this double top on Nvidia. You could probably short this. And then there is a secondary gap fill over here. GOT is just hovering. We're slightly in the money, out of the money on Netflix. I may grab a little bit of Nvidia short because you've had an impeccable move. Netflix is still remaining positive.
That's worse than estimates, but that is a leading indicator. That is not hard data. And then you're looking at a still pretty solid rally here in the equity market. S&P up 0.6%.
Yeah, so Nvidia we can short at 187.90. 187.90 on Nvidia. 187.90. Netflix is still remaining near the highs. We're in the money on our GOTU, and we're flat on our coin. Coin did put in this 15-minute topping tail. It's getting a retrace now, and it was on a decent amount of volume. Let's see if we can keep pushing on Nvidia. Nvidia at 187.90 is a short level.
This question, as is Crudy Gupta. Crudy, from a market perspective, let's start with you. The market is anticipating that we are going to see earnings hit at some point. The timing question...
So we're seeing some weakness starting to creep into the market leaders like Boeing. Nvidia is pulling off the highs. GOTU is putting in that 15-minute topping tail. Netflix is slightly positive.
To whether or not they can diverge is yes, and a lot of that is
Nvidia's
simply because
remaining near the highs.
Of what we've seen in the last really 2-3 years post-COVID. The idea here that if you have bad economic news,
green 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles on Nvidia, but Nvidia is into some decent resistance.
But I think the really big nuance this time around is something that Gina Martin Adams, our Bloomberg Intelligence chief equity strategist, said.
I'm going to take some Nvidia short right here. 186.66. 186.66 short Nvidia. 186.66. So the market's still trading near the highs. Nvidia's pulling off our level. Let's see if we can get some downside action in this market as the dollar pushes up. Nvidia is seeing a little bit of distribution occurring. Let's check on GOTU. We're still in the money. Coin we're flat, and Netflix we're slightly flat. Keep eye on Nvidia. We're in the money on Nvidia. Let's see if these markets can pull off now. You're actually trading near the high of the range on the S&P 500, and you're starting to see some Dow components show a little bit of weakness, so that'll be interesting to follow. Tesla might be putting in a 10-minute intraday topping tail. Meta remains near the highs of the chart. That's actually a great swing short on Meta. It's a potential swing short on Meta.
Cut back, and you see less production, and you see fewer people working. But the companies out there have had such a hard time finding workers that all the anecdotes are that for the most part they're going to try to hold on to them, which means
Netflix remains strong. GOTU is trying to push back up.
To see what the overall spending numbers were for the month of December on Friday. We know that retail sales were a disappointment, but what about services? And we have to see if
so the spiders are trying to put in a 10-minute topping tail. 10-minute topping tail.
the recession story.
Still got a few minutes left to go
that
on this
people are
candle,
gonna start
but there's
running out of
still
money.
that potential.
We're seeing bank
Now,
account.
what's interesting that I just want to bring to your attention is that I believe the dollar is going to surge today and break out. One of the reasons why is because you're seeing tremendous weakness in the precious metals market. Gold and silver have led this rally higher, and typically I do think the precious metals will lead the market with this dollar breakout. And we're seeing exceptional weakness in silver, gold. So I do think that the dollar has a very, very strong likelihood of breaking out, which means that these markets should see some pretty decent downside pressure. We're going to add to Netflix at this 351.51 level. 351.51. You're seeing a little bit of distribution occurring in NVIDIA. Trying to put in a potential 10-minute. You're seeing the dollar remain strong. I think on NVIDIA we can actually look for a 50% retrace of this whole up move. So we were up over 4%. So we can actually look for a 2% retrace. Netflix remaining near the highs. GOT is seeing some distribution. We're in the money on our coin. So we're sitting actually nicely on all of our day trades here. And considering the markets are so extended, we just need a little flush on the S&P to help the backdrop of our trades. And right now the dollar is bullishly consolidating.
Yeah, well, I think this is where this year's kind of the
So
special
you're
and the
seeing some
exception
potential
scenario to the
distribution
argument you just
signals
made, which is
occurring
last year, one of the big
on the
things that
S&P,
companies
on the
found, for
Russell.
example, case study here
Let's take a look at the
when
QQQ.
we were looking at their
Also
company,
potentially the
commodity
QQQ.
prices were going up, food prices were going up,
Bitcoin put in a nice 10-minute intraday reversal candle as well. So now it's just a matter of being patient. Netflix is pushing up. Coins pushing back up.
that is still a positive for a lot of these companies, and the stock market will actively respond to that because it's no longer growing in the way that it did in 2022 and arguably 2021 as well. So again, even for it to kind of plateau, that's a good thing.
So Mike, let's wrap this up.
Nvidia's pulling off the highs some more. Netflix, I'm going to add to my Netflix right here, 351.97. 351.97. Short Netflix at 351.97. So let me just increase that. Our new average is now 350.52. 350.52. And then we'll add to Netflix at a Pierce of 353. Let's check back on NVIDIA. GOTU is remaining strong. Coinbase is remaining strong. So we're slightly out of the money on Netflix, but we're in the money on our other two. And we've already closed one winner. The spiders are still trying to fight this potential topping tail. So we'll just have to continue to wait and see how that progresses. Valero's remaining strong near the highs. Actually, it's into a double top scenario, so that is a potential swing short. Nvidia's pulling off those highs a bit more now, so that's good to see. Nvidia is still struggling here. Netflix remains up. If semis put in a weak, an intraday topping tail, then that likely means we've seen the high in the markets today, and we have a decent level to trade against, which makes me think that the dollar is going to continue to surge throughout the day. So you put in a little bit of a doji candle on the SPY. It's not a topping tail, it's not as strong, but it is a little bit of a potential top signal. Netflix is pushing up. Coinbase is pushing back up. So the NASDAQ put in a topping tail, the QQQ. So we should see some weakness. NVIDIA also did put in a topping tail on a 10-minute basis, and it's starting to come in now a little bit more. You can see on a 15-minute basis it's trying as well. So we're flat on GOTU, in the money slightly on coin, and just out of the money on Netflix. But Netflix, even if we don't win this on a day trade, this is a good swing trade short level. Spiders are trying to push back up near the highs. Again, our next ad level on Netflix is 353. We're about 2 cents in the money on GOTU. I'm looking for 10 cents. S&P is pushing up near the highs again. Netflix is trying to push up a little bit more now. Netflix is floating near the highs, getting a retrace of the 10-minute topping tail. Let's just be a little bit patient here. Spiders are making new intraday highs as well as the Qs. New intraday highs. Netflix, get ready to add. Get ready to add to Netflix. It is pushing up. 353 or Pierce. Coinbase will add at 56.16 or Pierce. But Netflix is pushing. Look at these beautiful moves. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles. 353 or Pierce on Netflix. We're almost there. 6 cents away. Spiders are seeing a little bit of distribution now. It's interesting to see that the spiders made a new high, but NVIDIA didn't. Show a little bit of weakness in the semis. That could be a little bit of an indicator. Netflix, we're still remaining here. Let's see if we can push up on Netflix. It's just pulling off of that high. Coinbase is pushing up. Netflix, I'm adding to my Netflix. 353.02. 353.02. Short in Netflix. That's a 4th, 6th position on Netflix, and it brings our average to 351.21. NVIDIA is still remaining off of our level. So the S&P has retraced and the NASDAQ has retraced that topping tail. So if the NASDAQ can't close above that topping tail, it's still technically intact, which means we should see more downside. But the markets are getting very, very extended now. Very, very extended. Next ad low will be at 354 on Netflix. 354, and you can see the level that Netflix is now into, trading near the high of this range. Okay, so you have this resistance on the upside as well as these pivots. So 354 is the next ad level on Netflix. Get ready to add to coin if it pierces this level.
And the last thing I would say about that is what people are getting most excited about are three things.
Nvidia still
Confluence
remaining
of
up on
China
the
reopening,
session.
which is good.
GOT we're still in the money slightly. Coin we're just out of the money.
In Europe, which is maybe keeping them
It's almost adding to our next level on coin.
And then we have the hope for a Fed pivot, which is
You're
also
still
a call
seeing
that
some
the
bullish
Fed-
consolidation occur on the dollar, so let's be mindful of that. And we've still had a 3-day negative divergence from yields and the stock market. Last 3 market trading sessions, the S&P and indices have rallied. I'm just added to my net or coin short 56.18, 56.18. So that's a 2-6 position on coin. That is a 2-6 position on coin. So the S&P is still trading at the highs, but Nvidia hasn't made a new high, Apple hasn't made a new high, and neither has Tesla. Coins pushing up. Let's check Nvidia. Netflix is seeing some distribution occurring now. So we're going to need some more downside. Next ad level on coin would be 57.16. Basically, every dollar higher, dollar increments. But you're still inside of this reversal signal. Netflix is pulling in harder now. Let's take a look at Nvidia. So we're coming up on the 10:17 time frame. S&P is pushing up near the highs. Let's see if we can see some market weakness. Again, yields are up on the session the last 3 days, and the markets are up. So that's a negative divergence. We saw that 7 times in 2022. All 7 times resulted in stocks selling off. So will we see it again? It's very likely that the trend remains the same. Netflix is pulling off the highs. GOT were flat. Coin we're pulling in now. We're in the money on coin. Spiders are still remaining at the highs, so it's good to see the short positions that we are in have not made new highs with the spiders right now, despite the S&P making new highs. But as long as that S&P remains strong, which right now it's up almost 0.71%, that's a big, big level. The S&P is now tagging some decent resistance, and it is extended. You have a minute left in the QQQ candle, which will dictate whether or not that topping tail remains or it fails. So as of now, the topping tail remains, but if you get a close above that wick high, then you lose that resistance level. Energy stocks are still remaining really strong on the session. Natural gas has pulled off of the highs. So we need the S&P to show some weakness before we will get our shorts to basically come in on us.
What we don't know, Guy, is probably 2 things. Is we still could have other policy support dynamics. We're hearing about now fiscal stimulus perhaps coming out of Germany and France in sort of a coalition. That could be a positive.
Nvidia's
The
trying
Fed
to
could
push
pause,
back up.
maybe cut rates. We'll see later this year.
Coin's coming in a
That could
little
be
bit harder
offset
now,
liquidity
so that's
that
good to
has
see.
been a headwind. So, but we think that at a minimum,
I think it's really going to take the dollar to break out of this 102.20 area to stop these markets from trending higher.
And here's
So the topping tail on the Qs is still intact. Coin's coming in harder now.
It's going to be early part of the year. It's not going to be the second half of the year. If we make it that far, that means we probably did orchestrate a soft landing. At that point, the earnings growth will be turned back up again, and we can look forward.
Okay. That timing's really interesting. Mike, as ever, a fascinating note over the weekend. Always appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Mike Wilson. of Morgan Stanley.
Let's keep looking at Nvidia.
Okay,
Nvidia is a market leader. Nvidia is trying to take out its 10-minute topping tail high, but it has not done so yet. Let's see if we can start seeing some market weakness creep in. The S&P is at resistance. The Qs did put in a intraday topping tail. Nvidia just pierced its high, but it has not closed above it, so that is just a simple retrace. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. So coin's coming in sharper now. Look at the sell on coin. Basically on coin you can almost take a full dollar on the position, but I think we can get more based off of the extension on Friday, based off of the yields, based off of the dollar. So I'm hopeful that we can get more. Coins coming in. Let's pull up this S&P a little bit here, just so we can show you the resistance that we're at. So you can see we're tagging the top end of this range now. That's a big resistance level, considering that you've had an exceptional rally off the lows from 387 just 3 days ago. So big resistance level is being currently tagged on the S&P. Now if we had to carry this original bear flag forward, you can see that it may want to retrace to that breakdown zone. So this is where you're consolidating, this is where you had your impulse move, broke down. So you could retrace there. Spiders are pushing to new highs. So without any market weakness, we're not going to see our shorts come in a little bit harder. We need the S&P to show some weakness. It is leading the dance. So the 400 level on the S&P is a big psychological number, but this is an incredible move in the markets. Clearly a massive risk on sentiment, even though the yield market is signaling otherwise. People are optimistic that the Fed is pivoting. The rate hikes are done, that QT is done. We're going to add to our Netflix here at a Pierce of 354. At a Pierce of 354 on Netflix. I just got filled 354.01. 354.01. That's a 5-6 position on Netflix. It brings our average to 352.03. 352.03. Coin, we're still slightly in the money. Nvidia, we're basically flat. You can see the S&P still pushing. Wow, what a move on the S&P. And then the last ad level on our short position for Netflix will be a 355 or a Pierce, a 355 or a Pierce. Let's continue to keep that up on there. So you can see the S&P is now hitting this original bear flag break. So we'll see what type of resistance this provides. So far in 4 minutes and 43 seconds, the Qs will negate that topping tail, intraday topping tail. Apple's pushing up, continuing to push. Apple short at 143.26 gap fill, but it is into decent resistance here, which could be a short level as well, but I'm not going to do it because we do have our hands full with what we're shorting right now. But we're in the money on coin. We're just slightly flat or out of the money on Netflix, flat on GOTU, and we're slightly in the money on Nvidia. So let's see if we can get a distribution candle on the S&P here. Let's see what happens with the S&P. China remains up on the session. Valero remains near the highs. Natural gas is slightly positive on today's session, but it is off of the highs. Coinbase is coming in a little bit harder now, so that's good to see. Nvidia's 10-minute topping tail is still intact. Spiders are still trying to remain strong. So if the spiders really start to come in, we should see some weakness creep into this market and in amongst our shorts. But we're in the money on basically all of our positions except for Netflix right now. But I have no problem holding Netflix overnight. Let's keep an eye on Nvidia, a market leader. Spiders are still remaining near the highs. Tesla's up over 4%. AMD's up over 7.89%. Wow, that's incredible. So we're about an hour in. We'll take you in till about another 10 to 15 minutes just to see if we can get these markets to come in, but the spiders are trying to push up a little bit more now. So my expectation on Nvidia is basically $2 to $3. If you're a little more conservative, even $1 is a nice gain, but $2 to $3 on Nvidia will cover. Netflix, again, I have no problem holding overnight as a swing. But basically, I think Netflix can easily pull back down to this 343 level. In terms of GOTU, another one I have no problem holding over as a swing, but looking for about 10 cents on GOTU. Coinbase, anywhere between $1.50 to $3 is acceptable. Anywhere from $1.50 to $3 is acceptable. But so far, there's no real market weakness in the S&P. So until that occurs, we likely won't see a pullback in most of these names. So far, Nvidia's trying to come in a little bit now. See if we can get some more downside. Nvidia's still holding this level and its 10-minute topping tail.
0.7%. So this year, 2023 so far, starting out really pretty well. Last year, of course, was the first down week for the S&P 500 of the year, but otherwise up and away. As for some of the big movers on the day, it has everything to do with those tech heavyweights that are helping the S&P 500.
Still remaining very, very strong. Just doesn't want to see any sell side pressure as of yet.
positive on the chips.
But
That seems
things
to be
can
flowing
change
through to
very,
some of the
very
other
quickly.
techs. You can also see
Certainly we have experienced that.
This, of course, on the announcement that Elliott is
And
taking
we'll likely
stakes. There's some
experience another
encouragement there
reversal
that
again
things
at some
are
point
turning
in time.
Things are turning around technically. Let's check in on the S&P 500 because we've been following this chart for a while. Here
So Netflix is now up
the bear market, the last year's bear market. We've seen these many
3.61%
tests
on
of
the
resistance
session.
up near the 200-day moving average. We're
And
going
it is
back
pushing
above
up into our
resistance
next
once
short
again
level.
now. The more that happens, it tells you that the buyers have conviction. They keep fighting those sellers, suggesting that similar to the Russell 2000, the Dow, and some of the other indexes that have broken
Spiders are making new highs.
we might see
So
that
is
happen for the
Netflix.
S&P 500, despite
Nvidia
the talk of
hasn't yet,
recession,
so
despite
semis
the
are
talk
showing a
of
little bit
the
of
Fed,
relative weakness.
raising rates. One thing that it could have to do with, and this
Look
is
at this move on the S&P, up almost 1% on the S&P. Netflix, I'm going to add at 355. Oh, it did tag that level. Sorry, I got filled 355. 355 short. That's a full position on Netflix. We now have a full position on Netflix. So I won't be adding any more. But it brings our average up to this 352.97. 352.97. Short Netflix.
And according to the firm, you got 7 out of the 9 asset classes, from high-grade bonds to European
Spiders
stocks
are still
to
trying
US
to push up
now
potentially to that even 400 number.
Of a recession. Well, Julia
It's a
Coronado,
massive. So now on the S&P, you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of upside, 5 consecutive hours. Apple's remaining near the highs. Dow is up on the session. Take a look at Nvidia. There might be another short on Ally Financial, ALLY. Oh yeah, ALLY is hitting the daily 200 moving average. I'm going to take some short on AALY at 32.19 here, 32.19. Just got an alert. I'll pull that up on the screen. ALLY short at 32.19. High risk play 1/6 position. But you can clearly see on the daily chart, big resistance here. So you can still get filled, 32.19. On my other daily chart, it did hit the daily 200, so my increments are just slightly off on this chart. But we are short at 32.19. If it pushes higher, we have a technical gap here. And another technical gap there. But let's just monitor this position. Spiders are pulling off the highs. Good ad on Netflix there. Coin, we're still in the money. Nvidia, we're still in the money. Ally's trying to push up. The next ad level on Ally will be this 33 level, Pierce of 33. Spiders are still remaining strong. Wow. Wow. Still haven't got a pullback in the S&P yet. So we're going to need to see some weakness in Apple. to help pull this S&P down. But you're starting to potentially see some distribution occurring. We're still in the money on most of our trades here, but I think we can squeeze more downside out of this market. But basically on Ally, we're going to look for, let me just do this. I'm going to look for 50 cents to $1 on Ally, 50 cents to $1 on Ally. Let's check back on Nvidia. Spiders are trying to put in a potential 10-minute topping tail. Let's see if it does that. Nvidia is floating back up. Netflix is coming in. We're flat on Netflix. That's a full position. Seeing some distribution on GOTU. Coin is starting to come down more now. So basically we're short this market. Market's extended. We should see these trades all come in. We are pretty much in the money on all of them. I've given you the expectations for all of the trades, but we're going to have to cut this stream short and call it a session. But we have closed one winner, and it's looking like all of these trades will plan out. Basically 50 cents to $1 on Ally. We're going to look for anything over $1 to $3 on Nvidia, 10 cents on GOTU, and then basically anywhere from $1.50 to $3 on coin, I think is very, very likely. And then in terms of Netflix, I'm going to hold Netflix a little bit longer. I'm not going to cover today unless we got a massive drop down to like this 348, which I will take profits. But other than that, excellent job trading today. I do think the markets should see some downside. Potentially we may get a reversal today, all pending on the dollar. The dollar is still holding its breakout level. It's short-term technical breakout. So we're certainly going to have to keep an eye on that. Watching semis right now is a leading indicator because the S&P did put in a few more pivot highs, but the semis didn't take out their highs. So semis typically are a little bit of a leading indicator for the overall market. And obviously with Apple remaining near the highs, it's going to be very difficult for the S&P to fall. So that should also be paid attention to as a market leader. Other than that, we're in the money right now on most of those trades, like I said, and I've given you the parameters. But we will see you in the later second half of the afternoon session. And congrats on the win today. And it's looking likely that we're also going to get paid on a variety of these other shorts. So other than that, thank you for joining the live stream today. Congrats on the profits, and we will see you in the afternoon session. Take care, everybody, and be patient.